to take care of all of your needs very quickly, and I think it's going to happen very quickly. And one of the things we're doing, closing the border day one and starting drilling for oil.
Welcome, President Trump.
Thank you very much.
Here's my question. I felt that the 2020 election was fraudulent. So what measures are being taken by the RNC to make sure that that doesn't happen again?
Okay, well, you're not the only one, because if you look at polls, many people, big percentage of the country felt it was, they used COVID to cheat, but they would have cheated anyway. Many precautions, many law firms have been hired, a lot of work has been done, and beyond RNC, I mean, I wasn't very thrilled with them, obviously. I was always told you go out, you campaign. I left here early in the morning, and you go home, and you think you've done good. I actually made 7 rallies on the last day or two, 7. I don't know if anybody's going to do 7 rallies, and they're big rallies, and they were full-scale rallies. And I left, and I said, we're going to win. And at 10 o'clock in the evening, I looked at the numbers, and it was over. We were doing so well. Pennsylvania, all these states were doing so well. Then all of a sudden, they made adjustments and all this crap, and it was a horrible thing. So they were able to do things with COVID. Oh, we can't go vote, we can't this, we can't that, mail-in voting. We have a lot of great people involved. That's more than anything else. I say, I don't want help in getting the vote. I only want help. It used to be called election day. Now it's called election period, because some of these things last for like 2 months, right? I said, that's all I want. I want people to work, because we went back and we did great. And then the vote comes in, and then it was looking great, and then all of a sudden, this horrible thing happened. And by the way, it's all down. People know it. We had judges that didn't want to get involved. They were afraid. Everybody was afraid. They were afraid of the subject. It's a disgrace. What happened to our country is a total disgrace. Okay, disgrace. So, and look at the result. Look at the result. I mean, practically every problem that we talked about today wouldn't have happened. Ukraine wouldn't have happened. Inflation wouldn't have happened. I mean, so many of these things that we talk about today, we wouldn't even be thinking about. Now look at the supply chain. Who ever heard of a supply chain where people can't deliver? You couldn't get baby food, you couldn't get anything. The only thing you could get is all the drugs you wanted. You could get drugs, you could get cocaine. I wonder whose cocaine that was, by the way.
Cocaine in the White House.
Then when they went for the fingerprint thing, everybody said fingerprints all. It was white, clean. Not one fingerprint. Not one fingerprint, which is impossible. You can go to any place in this room, there's fingerprints all over the place, especially those cubicles. So we're going to be working very hard. That's my number one thing. Much more so than campaigning, actually, is that they don't cheat when they're out. Because they will try, and they'll be successful to an extent. But we're not going to let them steal this election, because this country is going to fail. I tell you, I don't think the people of this country will allow it to happen either, because this country is on a very thin edge right now. Thank you very much for the question. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I want to thank you, President, for all that you've done. And a question I want to ask you is, I'm telling you, no man can endure what you have endured.
Yes.
Do you realize the cause behind you? The strengthening you? You realize that?
Well, I appreciate what you're saying. I understand what you're saying too. It's been a terrible thing in so many ways. The only thing, the great gratitude, again, I'm looking at polls now where we're 50 points, 60 points up, among all these people. And we're beating Biden in all these polls, and we're beating everybody. And we have had to endure. We endured a fake Russia thing for years. We endured all of this stuff, all fake. And think of how bad these people were. A guy like Adam Shifty Shift is a real bad guy. I call him Pencil Neck. He's got the smallest neck I've ever seen. He's not going to be playing for your local teams, Iowa State. They're not going to be. But Adam Schiff, he makes up with Hillary and with the Democrats. They make up the Russia scam. He knows it's a scam. Think about how bad. I have sons and daughters. We love our sons and daughters, right?
Yes.
And I watch him on television one day. So he knows it's a hoax. Russia. Turned out to be a total hoax. No collusion. There was no anything. So he knows it's a hoax right in the middle. And he goes out to the microphones after leaving the meeting, which is supposed to be very, quiet. Nobody's supposed to know what goes on in there. He goes out to the microphone and goes, "The president's son, Donald Trump Jr., will go to prison for what he's done." Now, he knows it's a hoax. Think of it. It's not like I'm reading and seeing, and I watch this guy telling me. I'm watching him saying that my son is going to prison. My son is going to prison. And I know that he had nothing to do. There was nothing. The whole thing was made up. It was a made up thing. You know why it was made up? It was an excuse why Hillary lost. They said, let's blame Russia. And it was supposed to be a one-day deal, but the fake news wouldn't let it be one day. And the fake news carried it and on and on and on. We have the same thing right now. It's going on still. Do you know that if I got indicted, but because the people know me so well, they know it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. They say he questioned the election. He questioned, well, everybody in this room questioned the election.
Right.
The Democrats questioned 2016. They were all standing up. They were forming cards. They were forming all sorts of things. And those are the same guys that now that say, it's so corrupt. Washington's a corrupt place. But think of it, you're watching some guy on television, a high-ranking congressman, say that your son is going to prison, and he knows that it was a hoax. I mean, how bad do you have to be to do that? And then it gets, no collusion after 2.5 years. And then 2 weeks go by, and I had a little piece that focused on China and other things. It's almost the easy subject, right? I focused on the easy things like China, Russia.
China.
And then they start with Ukraine. He made a phone call to Ukraine. It was a perfect phone call. That phone call turned out to be absolutely, nobody's ever seen it. Everything I said was right.
Yes.
About, please study if there's any corruption, please report it to the Attorney General of the United States, etc. It turned out to be exactly right. A lot of people are saying right now they've got to undo even the theory of those indictments because those indictments were fake, just like everything else. So we have to get back to making our country great again. But you're right. Many people ask me that question. They say, how do you do it? And I do it because I feel real love and I feel real appreciation. And I do it because it's more important than anything else I could do. I could be living a very nice life, nice life in the most beautiful places all over the world.
Yes.
And here I am with you and I.
What are you going to do to make future generations more successful than what we are right now?
Well, we have to save our country first.
Yes.
I really do. I mean, it's a great question in a way, but I think our country, with almost 36 trillion in debt,
Right.
We are probably, if this group keeps running, think of what's happened. We used to be allies with Saudi Arabia, a lot of money, a lot of everything, a lot of energy. We didn't need their energy, that was the beauty, but we were allies with all these different countries. Everyone's left us. Brazil is up with China now. Saudi Arabia is with China. Many of the Middle Eastern countries, a lot of oil, a lot of money, they're with China. We've lost it. The whole of South America is with China. This all happened over the last 2.5 years. It's unbelievable. We have no relation, with all the money we waste on trying to bribe friendship. We try and bribe our friendships. We're not with anybody. We don't have anybody. And Europe honestly takes advantage of us on trade and on NATO. They take total advantage of us. And, you see that with Ukraine. We're trying to help them. And the problem is Biden got so far ahead of this thing that now, they're saying, well, why should we have to put up money? The stupid Americans are putting it all up.
Right.
That's what happened. Europe we're 200 billion and they're 25 billion. And it's right at their doorstep. And we have an ocean in between us. It's much different. So, the first thing, just to answer your question, we have to save our country. Okay? It's a sad answer, but it's not.
Yes.
Okay, how about we do one more? We always have to end on a good one, okay? We have to end on a very good one.
Hi, President Trump.
Hi.
First of all, I just want to say that I love and respect you so much, and I want to thank you for being America's biggest fighter. So there's that. But I also, less of a policy-related question. I just want to know if you have any words of advice or encouragement for a lot of us young conservatives who are afraid to speak out. As you may know, I definitely know from being a student at Iowa, Hawkeye State, by the way. And I just want to know, especially with the caucus coming up, we need to get a lot more young people out there. So I'd just like to know if you have any thoughts on how we could be better patriots to get you.
So it's so great that you asked that with such enthusiasm. Remember that there are far more of you than you think. You don't see them. You don't see them. I know people in Beverly Hills. I see them on television. We will stop Trump, but they go in and vote for me, It's like you think it's woke, it's not. You look at the percentage of votes and everything else, if you can count on it, which you basically can't. But look, you just keep your thoughts thinking because you happen to be doing the right thing. There are many, many more of you than you understand. There are many more of you than there are of them, and a lot of them are you. Because it's common sense. They say, are you a conservative? Whether you're conservative, yeah, I'm conservative, but I'm really a person of common sense. We need a wall. We want low taxes. We want good education. We want to be able to build and buy houses. Nobody can buy houses anymore because the interest rates are so high.
Too interest rate high.
Remember when they were high? I was jawboning that guy. Get him down. You better get him down. They said you can't fire the head of the Federal Reserve, but he thought he was going to be fired. And, you take a look at interest rates, what's happening right now. Yeah. You just stay just the way you are. You shouldn't change at all and just go out there. And people respect you, and they respect you more than you would ever think. And there's so many of you, okay? And you're going to a great school. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Get out and coffee and have a good time. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, President. Woo! Thank you, mọi người.